silent prayer. How are you all? I hope you are doing good at your home. Are you able to follow live classes and online classes? And don't forget to do your homework. And now, we can do a warm-up exercise. Are you ready for that? Then all of you please stand up from your seat. Yes. Then please stretch your hands. Please stretch your hands. Then all of you please turn right. Then please turn left. And please rotate your head. Yes, good. Sit down. Now, I will ask you a question. What all activities we have done now? Yes, we moved our hands, we moved our neck, then we turned to right, then we turned to left. Then, do you know which organ system help you to do these activities? Yes, brain help you to think and react to this situation. And the muscular system and the skeletal system together help you to move your body parts. It helps you to move your hands, move your neck, then it helps you to turn to right and turn to left. And do you know, our body is a wonderful machine with different parts. Our body consists of different organs which perform different functions, and they all work together. And now you see that our muscular system and skeletal system help you to move. And can you see your lungs or heart? No, we can't see that because they are inside our body. They are internal organs. Our human body has both internal and external organs. Internal organs like heart, lungs, then which are they? Kidney, brain, etc. Then external organs like ears, eyes, nose, then our hand and legs. So our human body has both internal and external organs. And these internal organs are protected by our skeletal system. So today we can start a new chapter, our body, and we can learn about our skeletal system. Do you want to see our skeletal system? I will show you now. All of you please observe. Yes, this is our skeletal system. And the skeletal system is made up of bones. And in an adult human body, we have 206 bones. An adult human has 206 bones. And one more thing, our skeletal system is not only made up of bones. You can see here bones. But some other tissues are also present. We know that there are 206 bones. So they should be connected to each other. And for that, there is ligaments. It is a tissue. And these ligaments helps in connecting bones to bone, bone to bone. And we know that both muscular system and skeletal system together helps us to maintain a posture and for movement. So the muscles should be also attached to these bones. So tendons helps for that. Tendons are tissues which helps in attaching muscles to bones. Then cartilages are also present. main function of this skeletal system? It forms a framework of our body and it protects our internal organs also. The skeletal system protects our internal organs also. And do you know one thing? Our teeth is also considered as a part of skeletal system. Actually, it is not made up of bones, but it is also considered as a part of our skeletal system. Teeth is made up of enamel and dentine. What is that? Enamel and dentine. And enamel is the strongest substance in our body. And a newborn baby has 300 bone. An adult human only has 206 bone. But for a newborn baby, they have 300 bone. As we grew up, some of the bones join together and it becomes 206. Our skeletal system is made up of different parts. We can see one by one. It includes skull, then our spinal backbone, then our rib cage, limbs, joints and girdles. These are the main parts of our skeletal system. I will repeat. Our skeletal system consists of skull, then comes spine and backbone, then it comes our ribs, then joints, limbs and girdles. And now we can learn one by one. Are you ready for that? Yes, we can learn one by one. So, first we will see about skull. Can you see something here? What is this? What is this? Yes, it is a skull. It is a skull of a human body. And you know that it is made up of bones. And what is the main function of this skull? It protects our internal organs like brain and ears, eyes and nose. And do you know, this skull gives shape to our head and our face. And this skull is made up of different bones. Our skull is made up of cranial bones and facial bones. And you can see here, it is made up of cranial bones and facial bones. And there are 8 cranial bones and 14 facial bones. Did you get that? There are 8 cranial bones and 14 facial bones. Our skull consists of 2 parts. And you can see here. Did you see that? It is cranium and mandible. And this cranium is the strongest part which holds our brain, then our eyes, ears and nose. Our cranium holds our brain, then our eyes, ears and nose. Then what about mandible? It is our lower jaw. It is our lower jaw. And it is also known as jawbone. Our mandible is our lower jaw and it is also known as jawbone. It is the lowest and strongest part of our human facial skeleton. In our face, it is the strongest and the lowest part, our jawbone. So our skull consists of two parts, which are the cranium and mandible. And our skull is made up of 14 facial bones and 8 cranial bones. Don't forget the number. Okay. Now we saw the skull. What will be the next one? Yes, it is our spine or backbone. Did you see here? It is our spine or our backbone. And do you know it is made up of 26 bones. Our backbone is made up of 26 bones and they are known as vertebrae. And you can see here. Did you see? Many vertebrae join together to form our spine or backbone. And did you see a disc-shaped structure in between each bones? This structure is made up of cartilage. It is a tissue. So in between each vertebrae, there is a disc-shaped structure which is made up of cartilage. And it serves some function. And what is the function of this disc-shaped structure? They stop bones from rubbing each other. They reduce the friction. They stop rubbing different bones from each other. And they also act as a shock absorber. So our backbone is made up of 26 bones, each one known as vertebrae. And one more thing, in a vertebrae there is a hole. For what purpose there is a hole in our vertebrae? The spinal cord should be passed through vertebrae. So to pass the spinal cord, there is a hole in our vertebrae. Spinal cord is one of the part of our nervous system and it passes through our vertebral column. The arrangement of vertebrae allows us to bend and to turn in different directions. So I can turn to here. I can bend. It is because the arrangement of vertebrae. Our spine or backbone is made up of 26 bones. Don't forget that. It is made up of 26 bones and each one is known as vertebrae. And you know that our internal organs like lungs and heart are protected inside a cage. Which is that cage? Yes, it is rib cage. So, this one is rib cage and it is our another part of our skeletal system. So, what is the function of this rib cage? We already told that it protects our internal organs. And you can see this rib cage is made up of different bones. So, how many bones are there in rib cage? How many bones are there in rib cage? Can you see? Our rib cage is made up of 24 bones. How many? It is made up of 24 bones. 24 bones which are arranged in pairs. And you can see here, our ribs are arranged in pairs. 12 bones in one side and another 12 in other side. Did you see a central bone to which the ribs are joined? Yes, and that is known as sternum. And that bone is known as sternum or breastbone. And two sternum the ribs are joined. So, our ribs are thin, flattened bone which forms a cage-like structure and it protects our internal organs. So, it forms a cage-like structure. And sternum is the long bone which is present in the central part of our chest. And we thought that there are 12 pairs of ribs. How many pairs? 12 pairs. That means 24 ribs. And some of these ribs are joined to sternum. You can see here. The first 7 pairs of our ribs are directly joined to sternum. And these ribs are known as true ribs. Which are they? So what is that? It is true ribs. And when you see, there is 3 more pairs and that are not directly joined to sternum. And it is known as false ribs. What is that? False ribs. And here you can see one ribs which is not pair which is not attached to sternum. They are floating. They are known as floating ribs. So, the first 7 pairs which are attached directly to sternum is known as true ribs. And the 3 pairs which are not directly attached to sternum is known as false ribs. And one more pair is remaining. It is known as floating ribs. And we know that our rib cage protects our internal organs like heart and lungs from injuries and shocks. And it has one more duty. They also play a major role during respiration. When we inhale air, our lungs are expanded. So when we inhale, the muscles in between ribs lift the rib cage up. And when we exhale, it came back to its original position. When we inhale air, the muscles in between the ribs expand the rib cage. Thus, the lungs are also expanded. It gets more space. So, our rib cage also plays a major role in respiration. Don't forget that there are 12 pairs of ribs. How many pairs? 12 pairs. That means 24 ribs. So far we studied about our skull, spine or backbone. Then what? Rib cage. We know that our arms and legs are also made up of bones. And they are known as limbs. Our arms and legs are known as limbs. The human body consists of upper limbs and lower limbs. Our upper limbs are known as our arms. Then our lower limbs are known as legs. Our arms have various bones. That is, the upper arm is made up of humerus. Then our lower arm is made up of 2 bones, radius and ulna. Our upper arm is made up of humerus. Then our lower arm is made up of 2 bones. Which are they? Radius and ulna. Then we are going to learn the number of bones. This is our wrist. Our wrist contains 8 bones. Our wrist is made up of 8 bones. Then our palm contains 5 bones. Then what about our fingers? They are made up of 14 bones. So our arms are known as upper they? Radius and ulna. Then our wrist contains 8 bones, our palm contains 5 bones, and our fingers contains 14 bones. Did you understand that? Now we learned about our upper limb. Now we are going to study about our lower limb, which is that? Yes, it is legs. These legs are also made up of different types of bones. And we can see here. Did you see that? The upper portion, the upper part is made up of femur bone or thigh bone. And it is the longest bone in our body. And from knee to ankle, there are 2 bones, tibia and fibula. And you can see here. Did you see that? Femur bones and tibia and fibula. We know that our wrist is made up of 8 bones, our palm is made up of 5 bones, and our fingers is made up of 14 bones. Similarly, our ankle is made up of 8 bones. Then our feet, it is also made up of 5 bones. Then our toe, it consists of 14 bones. So we studied about human limbs in our body. The upper limbs are known as our arms and the lower limbs are known as legs. Then upper limbs are made up of different types of bone. The upper arm is made of humerus. The lower arm is made up of radius and ulna. How many bones are there in our wrist? It is made up of 8 bones. And what about our palm? Can you say? It is made up of 5 bones. Then fingers, it is made up of 14 bones. Similarly, our legs are also made up of different types of bones. Which are they? Femur or thigh bone. Then from knee to our ankle, there are 2 bones. Which are they? Tibia and fibula. Our ankle is made up of how many bones? 8 bones. Then what about our feet? It is made up of 5 bones. Then our toes are made up of 14 bones. Our knee has a protection covering. So it is protected by a cap and it is known as patella or knee cap. So today we discussed about our skeletal system. Our human body consists of 206 bones. And the skeletal system consists of different parts. And today we studied about our skull, then what? Spinal backbone, then our rib cage, that means ribs and limbs. Don't forget the number of bones. We will summarize it very fastly. Our skull is made up of cranial bones and facial bones. We have 14 facial bones, F or F, 14 facial bones. Then we have 8 cranial bones. Then there are 2 parts for skull, which are the cranium and mandible. Mandible is the lower jaw and cranium consists of our brain. It holds our brain, ears, eyes and nose. Then our spinal backbone. It is made up of 26 bones and each bone is known as vertebrae. And in between vertebrae, you can see a disc-shaped structure made up of cartilage. It prevents friction between bones. And also it acts as a shock absorber. And inside vertebrae there is a hole such that the spinal cord can pass through it. Then our ribs. We have 12 pairs of ribs, 24 ribs. And first 7 ribs are directly attached to sternum. It is the long bone which is present in our chest, central part of our chest. So the first 7 ribs, 7 pairs of ribs are directly attached to sternum and it is known as true ribs. And the next 3 pairs are not directly attached. So they are known as false ribs. The pair is floating. They are known as floating ribs. So what is a function of rib cage? It protects our internal organs like heart and lungs. It gives protection. It also plays a major role in respiration. Then we learned about limbs. Human body has two limbs. Which are they? Our arms and our legs. Our arms are made up of humerus. Then two bones joined together, ulna and radius. Then we learned the number of bones in the wrist, palm and fingers. Don't forget that. Then legs also. It is made up of femur or thigh bone. And tibia and fibula forms from knee to our ankle. And there is a cap in our knee. It is known as patella or knee cap. I hope you understood what we have learned today. Don't forget to read your textbook. Okay? So all of you please stay safe at your home. Pray for each other. Thank you. God bless you.